If you don't know what that's from, that's because that movie just came out. That's from the movie Free Guy,
Ah,
new Ryan Reynolds movie.
how did you like
Which
it?
I actually kind of thought it was pretty good.
Okay, I have not seen it, but okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I do think that it wasn't like scale of 1 to 10, it wasn't the 10 or even the 9 that I had hoped for. And if I really sit and think about it, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed myself. It was some fun. There was definitely some like rom-commy type shit, and there was some what's the word?
Hold on. Uh
Some
oh.
little goofy.
Uh oh.
Don't have a good day. Have a great day.
That's for
What's
Free
going on
Guy,
there?
right? The
Don't
new
do
movie.
that. How do you know? How did you find out, Pete?
Well, you see, a friend of mine saw it recently. They told me about that. And they were like, "Hey, it's a pretty good movie."
Who was the friend that told you?
This dude, I think his name. Damn, you wouldn't know him.
Oh, I would not know him.
Nah, he goes by like Blues. You know.
I fucking hate you. That was so stupid. I feel like out of the 23 plus years we've known each other, you've never made that joke with my ass. We're gonna intro the episode and then we're gonna get back
All
into
right, so
what
I was gonna go. I was gonna use your one of your middle names
but you don't
instead.
want to do that. I appreciate not doing that.
So off the top of my head, I was like, "How do I
The internet
still?"
doesn't need to know all my fucking names, right?
Exactly. So I was like,
But no, like yeah,
it was
because
jazz. Okay,
the
people.
amount the amount of fucking people in my fucking life who mean well but have fucking done that whole blues yeah, okay, so we'll get into that anyway.
Oh, they've done my bad.
So that's why I'm like, I'm not mad at you, but I've heard like my whole life. Anyway, yeah, like, as he said, that is from Free Guy. So if you don't know it, you might know it now. Although by the time we upload this, because it is August 16th, 2021, when we are recording it, it might be uploaded well after enough people have had a chance to see Free Guy, starting Ryan Reynolds, which is pretty good. But anyway, this is the Whatever We Want podcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm your boy Jazz, aka Superjaz, aka SJ, JT, whatever you want, what have you, and the like. And I am here joined by my best friend, nowhere near the least, but definitely another host for the show. Sir, please tell them who you are.
Oh, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis, also referred to as Pete on this show. And I'm still having a good day, week, lifetime. Why? Because I exist.
Real talk.
That's it.
I feel that.
I didn't have I didn't have an Olympics related reason to guide my mood like the past couple weeks.
See the last episode, but no,
Or the one before that.
Or the one before, right? But no, as I said, this is the Whatever We Want podcast where we have new episodes every Wednesday. I remembered. It's almost like we're recording these back to back, and I forgot on the last one. Remember, anyway. So, yeah, new episodes every Wednesday. Whatever We Want podcast, where I always say that we do not lead the conversation leads us. But I got somewhere that we can lead based off of what just happened. So no, so my name is Jazz. My actual given name is Jazz, right? And in my lifetime, there have been some things with my name that I have heard from so many people. I'm 30 years old. I'm gonna be 31 in next February, and I have heard when I was it stopped when I would say I hit about 12-ish, but I used to hear all the time when I was younger that people thought my real name was Jasmine, and I was trying to cover up that I was a dude named Jasmine, so I went by Jazz. That wasn't the case. I got people all the time being like, "Oh, jazz, do you like jazz music? What kind of music do you listen to?" I get that all the time.
Yep.
I got a lot of people being
What's
like,
your favorite
jazz.
basketball team?
A lot of people didn't say that, honestly. It wasn't until It wasn't until I hit about 18, 19 ish, and then some people were like, "Oh, Jazz, oh, you're my favorite Autobot," which I didn't know, but a few people said that because apparently there was an Autobot named Jazz who was apparently cool as fuck. I think he was voiced by a black dude, which is hilarious.
Oh no, he was extra. He was extra stereotypical. You want to talk about Black Ranger and shit in the last one? This guy walked up and went, "Sup, little bitches." That's literally a line he said at one point. I'm like, he didn't have to say "What's up, little bitches."
He didn't say that.
There was nothing little bitches about this fucking scene. They just wanted him to sound even blacker, so they had him say "Sup, little bitches." See, now that's the wrong kind of.
Yeah, he didn't say no "Sup, little bitches."
Yes, he did.
In the show or
in the first Transformers movie.
Oh no! People said that apparently he was in the fucking 80s Transformers.
He probably was. I don't know anything about 80s voice acting, but I'm saying there was a Transformer in that movie named Jazz that had a line. Clearly, the guy clearly was a black dude, and he went, "Sup, little bitches." Like, that was one of his lines. And I'm like, he had no qualms with anybody there. He wasn't even just using bitches in the colloquial term for women, however right or wrong that would be. He wasn't even using it in that regard. He was just, I need people to know I'm black with this line, so I'm going to say, "What's up, little bitches?"
I wasn't even necessarily trying to get into like.
I'm sorry, but yeah, we just.
No, you're good. No, you're good because we can talk about that. I'm saying I was trying to get into like the movies now because the movies now we know how fucking like bad that skids and mud flap. Okay, I'll just say that much. But no, what else? Okay, you're my favorite Autobot. I had if you have a woman. You should marry. What you gonna name your kid? Blues. You gonna name your son Rock? Hip hop. Okay. When I tell you that everything that I've said so far, it wasn't just a few people said this. No.
Oh no, I believe
so many fucking people in my life.
That's entirely fair. I would not hear a name Jazz and go with the blues thing. That's the reason why you hadn't heard me say it till now. Never said it to me. It was literally. I'm just saying. It was literally a comment off the top of my head because I needed something other than what I was going to say, and I'm like, another type of music, real quick. Blues.
It's just funny because the difference is when I hear some of this shit, like there's been more shit. Surprisingly, I only had one friend ever, and it's like that's hers. Is actually say Jazzercise. Nobody said Jazzercise besides one of my friends. I'm like, that's you. You say that.
Nobody else did. I've heard Slash did the other thing, and I laughed at the basketball thing because I'm pretty sure you've gone on this tangent before, and I tried to use the basketball team thing, and you're like, ironically enough, that doesn't happen that often. I'm like, it's probably literally every time me assuming that other people have said it.
Yeah, it's just like also I got a lot of times too, like, Jazz, that's not your real name. What's your real name? That's not your real name. And then I'm like, no, that's my real name. My mom named me that. And then sometimes people are like accepting. Sometimes people are like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And then sometimes I'll just be like, okay, look, here's my driver's license. Like, yeah, and I show it to them. Few times people have said, let me see your license.
Nah,
But a lot of times people think this is my nickname. Not even like the Jasmine thing. They just think it's my nickname.
It's a cool nickname to have. But like when I first met you, I was like, oh, what's your full name? Or early on in our knowing each other. I'm like, what's your real name? Oh, it's Jazz. Oh, that's cool. And I just moved on from there. Now, when it comes to having a name that a lot of people like to make jokes about, I can't empathize with you entirely because it's not my birth name, and after a while I stopped going by it unless you're one of a few select people. But the name, Peter, really comes with a lot of jokes in and of its own self. Really? So it's used in like 5 different nursery rhymes.
Peter, Pumpkin Eater, what else?
It's all Peter Piper.
Piper, okay.
A couple other ones. But there's also, it's also a euphemism for penis. So there have been Peter jokes off there. A relative of mine who, even though I'm about to use their name for the sake of explaining this, I won't say how they're related to me. You would know, though. But to protect their identity most as possible, I would just say a close relative of mine. Her name was Spring. And oh damn, I can't even use the example because that would literally say who it is. But let's just say there's a lot of things involved with the name Spring and jokes involving that. But people try to make plays on season like that. Like if you have some names, I can understand. Like I'm saying, I can empathize to a degree because I've seen it on numerous occasions of people like that think they're clever when they find out your name or someone else's name, and they're like, "I'm gonna make a joke about said name." Aha!
Because like
And
the
it's
whole
like,
thing,
haven't heard that one before.
right? That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is I gotta realize that when people first meet me, and they might be doing it because they like me, so they just want to like find a way to break the ice and be a little silly. So they're saying it, but the difference is for you, that's the first time you heard that.
Yeah.
You said that, thought that. For me, that's the I can't even fucking count because I'm 30 years old and I've had the same name.
Yeah, no. Like I
That's
said,
what happens when your name is a noun. That's what happens. Like, cause I know somebody right now named Hope. Like usually when I meet people whose names are nouns, I jokingly fuck with them because I know how they feel. So I fuck with her and be like, I hope. Like I lean into it being stupid. I hope you're having a good
I'm
day.
sure she enjoys it every
Of
single
course she
time.
doesn't. That's the whole fucking point.
I'm sure she gets a kick out of it every time.
I hope everything's going okay. Or like if she walks in, I'll be like, oh shit, Hope has arrived. Like, yeah, shit like that. But no, it's just one of the things where like when I meet people who got names like that, like I lean into it fucking with them because I know what the fuck it feels like.
Yeah,
But
same here. Like I'll make fun of people. Like I'll use the similar things because yeah, like I said, while I can't empathize entirely, there's still times where I get those jokes, or I've still got those jokes a lot as a kid, and everything. It's not my Peter's not my birth name. I didn't change my name to Omari for reasons we won't get into here. There's a period of my life where that happened, where Peter or Pete was the name I was going by. Jazz happened to meet me during said time, which is why he still occasionally refers to me as that.
23 years, so.
But yeah. Uh yeah, so there's that. That's why I'm like, I can kind of empathize because I get it. I've been there. But I also obviously not the same level because it's not my birth name.
Right. But no, it's just one of them things where it's like I said, I have to be like, okay, they're just breaking the ice. Be nice, Jazz. Because my first thought is, oh, I've heard that like a billion motherfucking goddamn. But I'm like, oh, but they're being nice, so I had to catch myself. But no, it's just I don't know, man. Like when I tell people that I've heard all this, everything I just told you, there might be a few more I can't think of, but everything I just told you, when I tell people I've heard that shit, they're like, people really say that? I was like, everything I'm telling you, I've heard a million times. The only one that surprisingly stopped was I guess maybe people thought that a grown man wasn't gonna be named Jasmine because after I started getting to a certain age, that stopped. But up until a certain age,
I never thought
people thinking my name was Jasmine was just like a thing.
I met you before I met a Jasmine that shortened her name to Jazz.
Yeah.
So I hadn't really associated the two together until after I had met you, and then I'm like, whatever. I will say, I mean, it's on the screen. It has been on the screen numerous times throughout our fucking thing. The JAZ, your name, and how it's spelled. But
I'm getting that. Oh well.
like it, I figured if you truly were upset or something about it, you would have said something to me by now. Like, edit that shit out. But the fact that it's spelled with one Z, helps with the uniqueness. Because every other Jazz I've met, because I have met a few that were just straight up named Jazz, they were named it with two Z's, much like the music itself.
It ain't too many dudes named Jazz.
I'm talking about dudes.
Yeah. And I remember one time, apparently, rest in peace to whoever this was, but apparently it was like I want to say not 2020 obviously, but I want to say sometime maybe 2019. Like apparently they were doing like hashtag RIP Jazz, like JAZ, because I think like some if I hope I'm not quoting this wrong, but I think some high schooler, like maybe like high school football player or something like around town had passed away. And apparently some people that knew me got wind of it and they like thought that I was in trouble. They were like, oh shit, oh no. And
I mean,
they thought because
I would definitely give you a phone call.
It was some dude named Jazz, Jaz, that had like either got like hurt or like unfortunately passed away, rest in peace. And that was going around. People were like, what the fuck? Yeah. Because there's not too many dudes named Jazz, and if it is, it's not Jay-Z.
I only know like 5 other Omaris, but if there was a trend of Rip Omari or something going on, I fully expect to get phone calls from friends and stuff. Not like, you better fucking call me, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I could see why people would be like that. Because even though I've met 5 other Omaris, a lot of people tell me I'm the only Omari they've ever met. You've definitely heard of a few more if you haven't met them, but
I'm trying to think. Damn, I probably haven't. Oh no, duh, I'm tripping. No, yeah, I know somebody named Omari right now, but I mean, it's not too many. Not you, obviously.
Yeah,
I know somebody named Omari that's not you, motherfucker. What was I gonna say? Do people make jokes about Omari?
Hell no. What jokes are there to make?
That's what I was gonna ask you.
My problem that I have is no one knows how to fucking spell it. And I'm like, it's a very simple name. Or my pet peeve is there are people that either add or subtract syllables from my name. It's either Omario, Omarion, Omar.
I could see Omar a lot.
Yeah, but Omario, Omarion. Those are ones I get a lot, and I'm like, please no.
Omario is
Omari or Omar. I'm like, Omario is not dumb. That's common enough, but it's probably more common than Omari, to be fair. But still, it's one of those things. So definitely Omar is more common than Omari, and I'm like, no, there's an I, Omari. Like, I get that whole like. Just to call him like Omari. There's an I. But
if you have a kid, what are you gonna name him or her?
I thought about it. Yes, I've thought about what I would name a son, because back in the day I wanted to have a son. So yes, I've thought about what I wanted to name a son. Omari Jr. No, aside from that one, I've thought of a few names in the past, huh?
I said he'd be OJ. No, what would you call him?
I thought about it in the past. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But
big little bitch.
Rude.
Or they might you just call him BLB.
Rude. Like, I will say, names I've considered in the past, obviously there's Omari. There was one point where I did consider making Peter Andrew Ellis an actual person. And just naming my kid that. He's a junior, not junior.
Right.
Why that name? Oh, biblical names. And then people will know, like, oh, you named him after herself without naming her after herself to get around any argument with the wife who didn't want a junior. That's the loophole.
I remember I was working somewhere one time with my coworkers. I don't remember how we got on this subject, but I remember we were talking about something, and then she was just like, "What is it with dudes and naming their kids after themselves?"
Because a lot of people, like me, even at one point, want their kids to either, if not be extensions of themselves, because that just sounds way too conceited, a better version.
That's not bad. That's not
bad. A better version of themselves. Like, hey, right. I'm going to have, and this is how some parents end up falling into the trap that is pigeonholing their kids. Not that I would want to pigeonhole my kid. I don't think anybody necessarily wants to, but they still have an idea of where their kid's life wants to go. And some people get too fixated on the fact, even if their kid clearly is not part of that, and that's where the pigeonholing comes in. But still, a lot of people probably are like, I made a lot of mistakes in life, or I wanted to get to a certain point, and I wanted and I didn't. So I'm gonna have my kid be more successful than me, take the knowledge that I did and make a more successful version of myself. Like I always considered that when I was younger. I'm like, I'm gonna have Omari Ellis. This is gonna be a fucking successful version of me.
Take the name and do more with it than you could have.
Yeah. Or if you did something a lot with that name, now that's a name that kid, people will know he's related. Like there could be that as well, where it's like, let's say you did do a lot with your name. Like let's say you're a LeBron James, and I don't know why he has a kid named like LeBron Jr., but Bronny James Jr. is a person. That there in and of itself, it's like fuck it. Or Michael, I think Michael Jordan had a junior as well. Like sometimes when your name is got a status attached to it, you want people to know that's your kid because they're gonna be, and that name alone ensures a certain level of recognition or respect that already start with the kid because they share your name. And then like what they do with it, you can still have that be up to them and all that stuff. But sometimes when it comes to athletes, the kids just end up playing the same sport anyway, and 9 times out of 10, nowhere near as good as their parents. Then you get that once in a generation like 10th, where it's like, nah, I play even better. Like Wardell Stephen Curry. He's the Dell Curry's son, who has a different middle name, but still pretty much named after him, and is better than his father. I don't think it's insulting to Dell Curry to say that Steph's better, considering Steph pretty much helped redefine how people in future generations are going to play basketball. It just is what it is.
Steph Curry with the Warriors, his first name isn't just Steph.
Wardell.
I did not know that.
Much like his father, Wardell Curry or Dell Curry. Yeah, Dell Curry.
That's probably why he goes by Steph then, because his father already took the name. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but and he also has a younger brother, Seth, who I don't know if Seth is his first name, but it sounds very similar to, it's like Wardell Stephen Curry or whatever, or something like that, or Stephen, one of the two. But obviously, he doesn't want a lot of people calling him Wardell. Like one interviewer at a press conference decided that they would try themselves with the like, let's see what happens. They're like, Wardell, with this game, how did you feel like so and so? And you see the like look on his face, kind of like I told you when editing these things, I'll see a certain face like whenever I'm getting to one of my angry moments that I make where I'm like, where it's like, oh, here it comes. Like he had a similar face. He didn't like go off on him, but it was just like, this like kind of like with him, it was kind of like the nerve on this person, but I'm not gonna lose it, you know what I mean? Just like, what, really? I don't know you like that. Because I figure that's what it is if you're gonna talk to the man personally. But public knowledge is public knowledge, so that's why I said it here. Not like
one of my favorite, speaking of like random interview moments and shit, one of my favorite memes that they always play when people are basically like, that's some bullshit, and they like reply with the gif of LeBron with his little like suit in the handbag, and some, you know, and so having he like gets up and like
like when he got pissed off because they kept asking stupid questions, and he just gets up with like, a fucking handbag.
And all slow and shit, and they love playing. That shit is fucking hilarious.
I fucking love press conference things where people just either go off on a rant or just they get asked a stupid question and they have a good comeback for like something like that, or they just get like fed up and walk away like LeBron. But like the rants are always legendary. Like
I mean, we all know the classic, the practice. AI said it about what they even had to count. He said about 14 and a half times.
He said it a lot. There's a fucking old, at least 2010, if not 2009 or earlier, YouTube video by DJ Steve Porter. If not DJ Steve Porter Jr., which would be hilarious, but I think it's at least DJ Steve Porter. Where he took a lot of press conferences and made a song out of it. And like the main repeated line to like form like all the stuff that was based off of was, We sitting here, I supposed to be franchise player, and we in here talking about practice. Sitting here, I was franchise player. Then they had the guy, had the playoffs guy, Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. Playoffs.
What made that funny was his voice got high. It was like the fuck.
Or fucking Danny Green. The Bears are who we thought they were, and that's why we took the damn field. You want to crown them? Crown their ass, but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. They're coming after me.
I was gonna say, what made the AI, the Allen Iverson shit so funny was that after all that shit about practice. So you think you can help your team, but how the hell can I help my team by practice?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what are we talking about, Alex?
That's how it went into the fucking like hook or chorus or whatever. It was like, how the hell can I make my teammates better by practice? Not a game. We talking about practice, not a game. But just got the guy like, they're coming after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm 40.
I'm not a kid. That's why I don't read the newspaper. It's garbage. Get your facts straight.
I remember I saw like maybe the end of the game, and I have kind of I remember seeing the fucking Bears are who we thought they were, like shit, like live after, and being confused as fuck. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Looking back, I get it now, but in the moment, I was like, because they asked him like one question, or barely, and he just went off. Bears are who we thought they were.
It's like, what the fuck do you want me to say? We went against a playoff team. We lost. Like, we had the lead. They came back and won. They're exactly who you thought they were. They were a strong team. What the fuck do you want? The Bears are who we thought they were. We took the field expecting to face the Bears. We did. And when we lost, you want to call them the best, what the fuck ever, but they're who we thought we weren't going to. Like, I guess his mind was, nothing's fucking changed just because we fucking did. I don't want to fucking hear it. But we let him off the hook.
And then he didn't even like say anything. He just stormed off angry as shit. He was just like, ugh.
Well, it was like, and then there's Herm Edwards, the classic. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play it to just play it. Anyone tells you they play to play it, they're retired. Get out. I don't want to. Like, I fully endorse this statement.
What's funny is like that's the thing is like it's like you agree with the shit them motherfuckers are saying. It's just the way they say it is fucking hilarious. Like I said, I get what he's saying. He's talking about how the fuck, like with the other one. He's like, how the fuck can we lose? So now you want to bring up the motherfucking playoffs, bitch? Hold on, chill. But the way he said it with his voice cracking. Playoffs?
Well, they ended up getting like 2 wins that season, and they had like just lost a bad thing, because if you see the rest of, or like in that song I hear other parts, he's like, in my opinion, that sucked. That was a disgraceful performance out there. And I guess somebody asked, like, do you think we can still make the playoffs this year? He's like, what's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. I just hope we can win another game.
His fucking voice cracking was fucking hilarious.
Playoffs?
You know, one of my favorite interviews too was where Shaq was still going around. He was like mad off of something, and he was like, "Yeah, we did the fucking blah blah blah. It's Shaq, we're live, so I don't give a shit."
Oh, NBA players like him, Charles, fucking Russell Westbrook has some moments like that too. Like,
really?
What the fuck you talking about, man? Like, he got some stupid question where he's like, "What the fuck you talking about, man?" Fuck out of here.
Oh, you talking about the one where he was like, "Y'all niggas tripping." You talking about that one?
Yeah, y'all niggas tripping.
That shit was hilarious.
He has a couple other similar moments, but that's the main one. What?
He was sitting down, like, changing the locker room, and they interviewing him. He said, "Y'all niggas tripping."
Russell Westbrook cracks me up. I'm looking forward to this basketball season. I hope that team old as fuck wins the fucking championship, mainly because, by the way, Russell Westbrook's now going to be on the team with LeBron and a bunch of other people, and Carmelo Anthony, who got drafted the same year as LeBron, but got drafted out of college, I'm pretty sure, as opposed to LeBron, who got drafted out of high school. And when you're drafted out of college, it's not like football where it's like a minimum of 3 years. It's only like a minimum of 1 in NBA. But now you can't be drafted out of high school anymore. I think that stopped with Dwight Howard.
LeBron was like one of the last to be able to do that. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the last, but he's one of.
It was either Dwight Howard or somebody immediately after him that were the last
The
high
last.
school. Yeah, now it's you gotta have at least 1 year of college or at least 1 year of basketball playing like overseas or some shit. Because some people have managed to do that and still come into the NBA like hella young. Like I think Luka Doncic played overseas. Doncic, he played like overseas and then came into the NBA at a young ass age because he had played like 3 or 4 years overseas where they're like, yeah, this 13-year-old can play with the rest of us. Why not?
Shit, more power to a 13-year-old that can hang with grown ass men if they can.
Well, it's like the old school ish. I say ish because they wrestled during our time and are still on the younger side. But that you feel like you're Daniel Bryan's or someone of the ilk that's about my age or so. Although Daniel Bryan's older, but you get my point. Around that time where they fucking like, oh, I'm gonna go to fucking Mexico at age 14 and drop out of school and be a pro wrestler so that when I'm age 34, I'm already a 20-year vet.
Well, that's like, what's his name? She had to stop, but Paige is fucking like 26 years old and I've been doing this shit for like 13, 14 fucking years.
Yeah, Paige is a very good example.
Like, goddamn. I need to see. Have you seen Fighting with My Family?
Nope.
I kind of want to check it out. No offense. And it is very admittedly, not completely, because a movie is a movie, but up to a point, sometimes watching a movie where it's just heavily British accent the whole way through, I have to kind of be in the mood for it. I'm not gonna lie.
I can kind of see that, but I like the British accent too much. It's hilarious. It makes things that probably I wouldn't find as funny more funny. And I'm not saying, oh, British people, they talk funny. It's just it's different, and because of the way that it's different, it plays into the delivery. And as we mentioned in a previous thing, delivery. While I'm not someone who's going to sit out there with his pinky out like, I heard that joke, but he delivered it, one offbeat of the parameters that he should have delivered it. No, nothing like that. But at the same time, if something is delivered just the whatever clicks with me comedic timing way, I'm all about that shit. That's why I fucking love the movie like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Haven't seen either one.
Well, you don't like British accents. Everybody in those movies.
I didn't like British accents.
You gotta be in the mood to hear a British accent.
At times I do.
Those and the whole cast of both of those movies are British. So, but that also makes some of the lines funny, just because it's like he said it this way. And also, when somebody says something in a different way, it leads itself to like impersonation. For whether good or bad, in my terms, it's good just because I like the way they said that line. Like, there's this black guy named Rory Breaker in the first movie. That's fucking hilarious. He's got like a little curly fro or whatever. Fucking God, like they actually kind of parody him in Boondocks, but with a white dude.
Oh shit! But no, I was gonna say that's like Kingsman. I love Kingsman. Kingsman was the shit. So that's what I'm saying. I loved Peter Rabbit, actually. The Peter Rabbit movie.
I wanted to see Kingsman. I did not want to see Peter Rabbit.
I love motherfucking movies, and I love going to, like, a hobby of mine is going to the movie to see the latest movie. Hence the quote that kicked off this episode, right? So I do that. And Peter Rabbit was, I saw the original one because 2 just came out. 2's not as good as the first. I don't care. I'm 30 years old. I'm saying it. I don't give a shit. But the Peter Rabbit movie was surprisingly really enjoyable. I can like all kind of movies, so I don't give a fuck.
No,
not that I'm saying you can. Not that I didn't mean that to say.
No, I'm not going to knock Peter Rabbit and say that it's bad because I haven't seen it. However, I was just saying it's not a movie that had interested me as much as Kingsman, mainly because of
Kingsman was pretty good.
The subject matters of both movies. One's a fucking action movie with
Action
fucking
like a
spy
motherfucker.
shit and British, and the whole idea is look how overly fucking British and gentlemanly we are as we fuck shit up. That
And
sounds
that was dope too.
that
It
sounds
was
right
dope.
up my fucking alley because those
That's
characters.
exactly what it was.
Because, like, in action movies or, like, anime or those kind of genres where you can turn your brain off and just enjoy what's on the fucking screen, you don't necessarily have to with every single one. But you get my point where it's like, come on, man, just enjoy this fucking ride.
Sometimes, yeah, it's just like it's stupid as and implausible. Who cares?
Yeah, but there's a lot of implausibility in the genres I like anime and action movies. And in those things, usually if you got a random fucking British gentleman dude, that dude is one of the most hardcore motherfuckers on the fucking planet. He will beat your ass and say some words you probably don't fucking understand and then insult your fucking dignity afterwards like fuck you.
That's what
Kingsman seemed, yeah, and the idea of a whole organization just of those dudes. That's hilarious to me. That's why I kind of wanted to watch. I ended up not watching it because, and I don't remember how people liked it. But when I first saw the trailer for Red, where it was here's a bunch of angry old people, angry retired old people that used to be fucking spies, and now they're gonna here to remind you, the fucking OG. The old dude in fucking animes and stuff is one of those characters again that, oh shit, this motherfucker's here.
Iroh, yeah.
He's going to wreck somebody's shit to remind you who he is, even if he doesn't fucking necessarily win everything out in the end. Yeah, the
Uncle from Jackie Chan, yeah, shit.
Fuck, uncle, yeah. Whitebeard. Yeah. For One Piece people out there. Motherfucking Whitebeard. That fucking dude. They tell you he's that nigga, and then he fucking shows up, and for all the fucking hype, like, very few times in anime has someone been hyped up as much throughout the series, and then fucking delivered. Like that motherfucker did.
That's not even just anime, that's everything, where it's just like, if they hype up something for so long, and then it actually is worth it.
But he lost at the end. Yeah, but watch it.
Apparently, I need to watch One Piece.
Maybe.
A lot of people, RDC, again, shout out to RDC. RDC's talked about it. You definitely bring it up a lot. We did a fucking whole quiz thing about it.
Mara no me right there by my face.
Yeah, look through the look through
on top of my Dragon Ball thing.
Look through the episodes of the Whatever We Want podcast. There's one where we quiz each other, and his quizzes were One Piece. I'm like, should I check it out? Should I check out One Piece? I mean, like,
I don't know anymore.
What does that mean?
It means I could think that you really like that you would really like something, only for you to go, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my fucking life, and then I'm like, oh, well, shit. Or I could not like something, and then you go, well, this one aspect of it is one of the best things I like. Now, I will say, just without me trying to, with me not adding any personal bias to this, I will just speak on other people's opinions from here like that, and what other people's opinions of the series are. Because I don't want to put I also hate overhyping things. I end up doing it because if I like something, I'm going to talk about it. But I hate overhyping things like, oh, fucking My Hero Academia, that new anime is fucking anime Jesus. Bye-bye One Piece, bye-bye Dragon Ball and Naruto.
That, like, that's the shit. I haven't seen that.
Which is why I didn't watch it forever, because I'm like, okay, anime Jesus, get the fuck out of here. And then, sure enough, I eventually watched it, and it's a very solid series, My Hero. It is a solid series. Is it anime Jesus like people want it to be? No, but neither is Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer has some great animation. Demon Slayer has some great animation, but anime Jesus like people are making it out to be, or Attack on Titan, or any of that shit. All solid series, even though Attack on Titan kind of ended in a very crappy fashion, from what I hear. Apparently people up in arms about the ending. I can't speak on that. Anyway, One Piece hasn't ended, but people who watch and or read One Piece from what I noticed. Because last year, a lot of people were left with a lot of time on their hands, so they could watch and or read the series. I would always suggest someone read it because it's just a faster experience, and it's also the original experience or whatever. Because the anime, after a while, they started doing less filler, but then they got too close to the manga, so instead of doing filler arcs a la Naruto, who had the very infamous 90 episodes of filler. And that's just one giant set of filler arcs. Not to mention shit that they did later on in that series. So, to avoid shit like that, they ended up kind of dragging out the canon, which, as someone who's read the manga and then also watched the anime, it can make the anime drag longer because you're trying to get to your favorite parts more. But I've also seen people who only watch the anime be like, I don't have a problem with the pacing. You know what I mean? Or if they've been watching it week to week for a while, they understand some of the extra shit because it's like, not everybody's a fucking expert on this series, guys. Sometimes you need those reminders of shit that happened earlier on in the arc if you're watching it week to week. If you're marathoning it, then it can get annoying. However, everybody, like, I've seen very little reviews of the series where people watched it and then went, what the fuck is the big deal with this? Like, if they gave it a fair enough shot. Like, I'll see a lot of things, and the thing that's kind of scared me for you, because we watched through Dragon Ball and stuff, and all cards on the table, at one point, the idea came up where I'm like, I'm gonna fucking go through the series of One Piece with Jazz on my channel. I think I even mentioned that to you. But I know, to a certain extent, early One Piece probably wouldn't necessarily appeal just because of the aspects of it, but it's long-term storytelling at its finest. So I had like little fucking make it to this point and then cast a judgment on it. And most people that make it to said point end up fucking loving the series. They don't necessarily claim it as one of their best, but they consider it a very solid series. And there's just one YouTuber, totally not Mark, lifelong DBZ fan. He built his YouTube channel off of DBZ. He decided to go through One Piece last year. He kind of documented his shit and reviewed it as he went. And he's a writer in his spare time. He's a writer in real life, apparently, or he's been working on having a career in writing. So different aspects that I didn't see. It was like, this is why this mangaka is a good writer and blah, blah, blah. And that's one of his favorite series. It didn't dethrone Dragon Ball, much like it didn't for me. But he still admits that it's very well written. But considering I'm like, I like this, that, and the other, and then I'm like, Jazz will like this too. Oh, Jazz did not like this. I'm not going to go full on and say you hate it, like with the exaggerated things like with Brawly or fucking Dragon Ball Super in general. Because I believe at the end of the day, you did enjoy Dragon Ball Super, correct?
I love Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super was the shit.
Yes. All right. See, but like going into it, there were certain aspects of it. I think the only aspect of Dragon Ball Super that I expected you to like, and you did like it as much as I thought you would, was the Tournament of Power.
I was about to say Tournament of Power. If I didn't like Tournament of Power, if you watch Dragon Ball Super and don't like the Tournament of Power, like then that just means that means that the series wasn't for you. That's what I was gonna say. So
lots of people.
The whole series is building up to the Tournament of Power. So if you don't like the Tournament of Power, then the series wasn't for you.
A lot of people don't like it because certain characters got obsoletized, and people hate Jiren, as we went on before, because his design's too boring. Never mind the fact that as boring as Jiren's design is, because he's generic alien, I'm gonna be that guy that say the Saiyans are just people.
They like humans, right?
And I love me some Saiyans in Dragon Ball, but I'm gonna be that guy that's like, Goku's a dude in a karate gi. Like,
they just got weird widow's peaks, right?
Technically, Vegeta has more interesting character design outfit-wise than Goku, because at least he's got that armor shit. Now, I'm not saying Goku's a bad character design. I'm also not saying Jiren is. But my thing is, if we really want to break
If we're
down
gonna go
the
there, let's go there.
nuances of character design, there's that.
But basically, going back to it, what you're
I
saying
think
is,
I would have thought, let's say we do this a couple years. You asked me this question a couple years ago. I felt if you got to certain points, like anytime, I would have thought early One Piece would probably turn you off. I will say, like, but that's why I would have gone into it and was prepared to go into it with a caveat that you watch this, at least get to the. Promise me you're gonna at least get to this point, and then we'll see. You know what I mean? And I do this with everybody actually.
I was gonna say, is it specifically just me because of us watching Super, or is it kind of anybody? Was what I was gonna say, as well as I was gonna say, are you mainly basing it off of Dragon Ball Super, Broly?
No. Before any of our Dragon Ball shit, I still would have given you the caveat about the early One Piece based off of your early things. But I figured once we got to a certain point, there was a strong chance of you continuing. Now I don't know because I don't know how you look at things. And for better or worse. And again, this is not me trying to about it because everybody has differing opinions. That's what made the whole us doing reviews things so
interesting,
fun. It was that, and I really enjoy, and why our reviews also got longer and longer is I enjoy showing people things I like and them liking it. And because we couldn't watch Dragon Ball Super together, or rather we could, but that shit would have taken so much longer. But there are ways to do so, and including with One Piece. So I could see people's reactions face to face. That's why our reviews got as long as they did, because we would talk about them and shit like that. But I will say I'm not as certain that when you get to said point, it's not as much of a surefire you want to continue as I thought it was. But said cutoff point, the reason I had it with you is because I feel like a lot of people would have been turned off by early One Piece. And there were some people that I worked with in the past, one of which had that Goku, Superman, Jiren, Goku, the whole theories I talked about in our Dragon Ball reviews about the whole Dragon Ball Super is literally just so Akira could say that Goku is on Superman's level.
Yeah. We watched Screw Attack's video and was like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, like, no, motherfucker. But, yeah, that was a joke theory, but you know what I'm saying. That guy, working with him, because we worked a lot of night shifts, I talked, because I've read as much One Piece as I have, as many times as I have, I pretty much told him the whole plot up to current through working. But I had a certain point where I stopped early on and was like, all right, now that we've gotten to this point, I'm going to ask you if you want to continue.
with just you telling him?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you if you want to continue, because this is a long story, and we're still relatively early. Well, very, but you know what I mean. We're still early in it. You can get off this boat, for lack of a better term. But you can get off this if you want to, or we can continue to the next one. He's like, let's go. And then I had another 1 or 2 points after that. They were longer chunks, obviously, but still, I had another 2 points. Like, I had stop gaps where I'm like, all right, if you don't like it by this point and you're not sure at all, like the third and final point out of all of those, to not spoil it too much in case you do eventually watch it, the third and final point out of all of those, I'm like, if they make it to this point, they're continuing the series, because I sure as hell did. Like,
I probably will end up watching it, like, straight up. That's why I was just curious.
Yeah, but but the first and second point is like, if you don't like it at all, like at that first point, nothing's working for you with the series, I'm like, okay, we're done. If you're like, okay, it's got some strong points, okay, we'll continue to part 2 where I'll ask you a second thing. If you're like me, that first point, definitely I was hooked. That's where the series, I'm like, so this is how the series is. And then going forward, it was like the second point. The second point only comes in because it's after a big arc that my first read through, I kind of felt it dragged on a little bit. Going back and rereading, it's one of my favorite parts throughout the series. But the first time, I'm like, but I still kept on, and I'm happy I did. So that's why I said the second time, it's the same kind of question. You still ain't feeling shit at all? Like, this ain't working for you even in the slightest at this point? Like, over like 200 chapters worth into the fucking series? Stop. There's no reason reading the next 800 chapters if you don't feel shit positive about this series by now. However, like I said, that third point, I don't even bother asking anymore, or I wouldn't even bother asking, because you're in it for a long haul once you get to that third point, because that third point is one of, if not it's arguably, if not definitively, the best arc in the series. It's definitely top 5.
So do people who know One Piece, are they going to know what you're talking about?
They probably know what my first point is.
Because you're being...
They probably know what my first point is. It's before they reach the Grand Line, even, which the majority of the series takes place on. So that's why I'm saying it's early enough in the series. But it's kind of the climax of that, well, kind of the climax of that early first part. The second point is the first big saga of the Grand Line. For people who do know what I'm talking about, I'm just going, for people who do know the arcs without me saying the names and stuff, that's why I'm doing this description thing. And when I say the third point is arguably the best arc in the series, it at one point held the record for most manga sales volumes a specific volume or set of volumes. It at one point held the record, only to be outdone later by pretty much the climax of the next saga.
Wow.
And then afterwards, you have other shit that goes on. And nowadays, like, I'm at the point where even the anime, even though it has some of those pacing issues, it has, when they got to this most recent arc, they stepped they shit up. They hit, because it essentially takes place in One Piece version of Japan. And I'm pretty sure that's why they decided to step their art up and the way they present everything. But yeah, the third part isn't that most recent thing. It's what I said.
Well, the reason why I asked, like, you know, specifically me or whatever, or what you were talking about, because you were saying some of it, because, like, so for y'all listening who may not know, check out his solo YouTube channel, feogrande, FEOGRANDE, because on there we have reviewed every Dragon Ball Z movie in order, including Dragon Ball Evolution, and we reviewed all of Dragon Ball Super, which is a series after Z. And when we got to Dragon Ball Super Brawly, I know that Pete thought I was gonna love it, wasn't the biggest fan of it. So that's why I was saying, are you basing some of what you're saying off of my opinion?
That definitely shattered the plans of me doing it all together, because I was too unsure. And it's not necessarily that you quote unquote hated the movie. It's the fact that you like it more than Bio Brawly. Or sorry, you like it less than Bio Brawly. And the fact that we differ so greatly on those two films, I'm like, okay, our tastes aren't as aligned as I thought they were.
I knew that had to have something to do with it. That's fucking hilarious.
But I'm just saying, like, so I can't guarantee if you still want to. And I think I even still offered, like, if you want to, we can still do it. I just wasn't as guaranteed in my head, like, oh, I'm a convert Jazz with this one. But I also, reason I think you would hate early One Piece, you hated early Naruto because you saw a random episode with the fucking 5th question.
I just saw one episode. It was like the 20th question or some shit.
And even though I showed you the set of episodes that got me into Naruto with Rock Lee versus Gaara, and you said you enjoyed those, that 5th question or 20th question still was so terrible you did not watch Naruto.
And I heard from one of my friends in high school who loved Naruto that was a terrible episode.
It was. It is a low point, but it's a low point in an otherwise great series.
Right. Well, I look at stuff like from an outside looking in, because obviously I've watched DBZ and now all of Super. But from an outside looking in, I look at like shows like Dragon Ball Z / Super, Naruto, and One Piece kind of in the same vein, where there's like a story arc of like this random group of friends who got to get this thing, but they all have their own powers and they fighting random enemies. Yes?
Oh, yeah. No, Luffy is essentially Pirate Goku. Naruto is Ninja Goku.
There you go.
Now, they're still their own characters, all three of them.
Right.
But they have similar enough traits. Naruto is more Goku than Luffy, I would say. But Luffy's still Pirate Goku. I mean, Naruto doesn't even try to hide how Goku he is. He wears the whole fucking color scheme and everything. Here's my orange and blue jumpsuit. Only person more obvious with, hey, look how Goku I am, I think it's Toriko, where his outfit is practically the fucking same.
What show is that?
It's a shonen anime that was short-lived, but it was pretty much about dudes hunting animals down and eating them. He wanted to eat the best shit ever. And he wanted to make his goal in life was to make the ultimate menu. Like, so he could have the best meal. So he traveled around the world. In their universe, they find, like, exotic creatures and shit that they pretty much fight with their bare hands to defeat. And then fucking eat them and be like, this is fucking amazing. This has to be my main course, or this is going to be my dessert on my ultimate menu. I never finished the series, but it seemed pretty cool. He also eventually got a pet wolf named Terry, and I was like, as a fan of Terry Bogard, who's in King of Fighters, for people who don't know, who's known as like the legendary Hungry Wolf or the legendary Wolf or something like that, and also has a move called Buster Wolf. When I first saw this wolf on screen, I was joking around, yelling out Buster Wolf as it was like doing shit. I'm like, Buster Wolf, ha ha ha. And then he's like, I'm gonna name you Terry. I'm like, wait, what? This is suddenly my favorite wolf ever. But I never finished Toriko, even though Toriko did finish as a series a while back. Finished before Naruto, I think.
Well, hopefully, if you finish this episode, then you will go back in all of our episodes and watch the rest of them and finish all of these episodes and keep tuning in every Wednesday. So that way you can go ahead and keep on having us keep you company and vice versa with the Whatever We Want podcast. If you would want to get more of the company of us solo, then please go ahead and like the page on Facebook for your boy. That would be Superjaz.
Superjaz.
I knew it was coming because you didn't do it earlier. That time. That's what I got you.
Yeah.
That would be Superjaz. Please like the page on Facebook. Like I said, as well as if you would like to follow me on Twitter, go ahead and look up Superjaz 2.
Superjaz 2.
I saw that coming because you did it before, and I saw the look in your eyes saying you're gonna do some fuck shit.
You're right.
And I also me kind of saying it was like that was the whole Pete. I can't be defeated. He must not know. I know you, bro. Okay, all right. Okay, so like I said, Superjaz 2 on Twitter. That would be Superjaz number 2, as well as you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you would so like, with Forever Superjaz would be my username. So that would be Forever Superjaz, forever spelled correctly. And if you would like, I am an MC from time to time. So please look up the EP that I released a few years ago called Too Much Free Time. You may have to put in Superjaz Too Much Free Time because I'm not that famous yet. And keep looking out. It's almost close. Keep looking out for my secret identity, which will be the debut album. AOP, Omari, good sir. Tell them something they don't know about you. Or they may know, but tell them something good.
Good? They know a lot. For instance, they know where they can find me. They can find me here, as we said earlier, every Wednesday on this channel. Also, you can find me at YouTube. Also, as we mentioned, at feogrande. That's Feo Grande or Feogrande. On YouTube, all one word. On Twitter and Twitch, I am known as Giotavi, Giotavi. The Twitter will usually tweets out when I go live on stream. I'm streaming every day in 2021. Stop by and chat. I'm just pretty much chilling with fighting games. And sometimes if people don't chat, I might focus a little bit too much on fighting games. So I might need a little bit of a distraction to keep me sane. But
Speaking of a distraction, so all that being said, and the edit with the averted crisis that wasn't a crisis, at least from my point of view. All that being said, after I freaked out slightly in my own head for no reason, hey, maybe you can let everybody know. What are we gonna talk about next time?
Whatever we want, baby. Not you, the crowd's the baby. What's up, babies? How you doing? Adios.
Peace out.